Part 7. The night Ryan almost lost everything. 3 days after Victor Lang was exposed, chaos exploded across Carter Tech. News channels ran non-stop headlines. Corporate fraud scandal. Billions at risk. Is Carter Tech collapsing? Reporters crowded outside the building like vultures waiting for a body to drop. And right in the middle of it all, Ryan was barely holding himself together. Investors pulled money fast. Stock prices crashed harder every hour. Employees whispered nervously in hallways. Some were already updating resumes. Fear spreads quickly inside rich buildings. Faster than fire. Meanwhile, Helen sat quietly in Ryan's office early one morning holding a cup of tea. She watched her son packing nonstop, phone in one hand, laptop in the other. Jaw tight from stress, he hadn't slept properly in days. Again. You need rest, Helen said softly. Ryan shook his head immediately. Ryan, if I stop moving, everything falls apart. That sentence scared her, because that's exactly how Frank used to talk before his heart gave out. Ryan suddenly stopped walking and grabbed the edge of the desk. Helen noticed it instantly. His breathing too fast, way too fast. Ryan, he tried speaking, but couldn't. His chest tightened hard, hands shaking violently now. Panic attack. Hey, look at me. Rushed toward him carefully, Ryan collapsed into the office chair, breathing like he couldn't get enough air. I can't breathe. Helen grabbed his face gently. Yes, you can. Her voice stayed calm even though fear exploded inside her. Slow breaths, baby. Baby, that word broke something inside Ryan instantly, because suddenly he wasn't a CEO anymore. He was just a terrified little boy again. 10 minutes later, Ryan finally calmed down slightly, but Helen looked deeply worried now. This has happened before. Ryan stayed silent, which meant yes, many times. How long? A few months. Stared at him in disbelief. I've been having panic attacks for months. Ryan rubbed his face weakly. I hid them. Why? He laughed bitterly. Because CEOs aren't allowed to fall apart. That sentence made Helen angry for the first time. Real anger. That's nonsense. Ryan looked surprised. You think money makes you less human? Her voice shook now. Your father believed the same stupid thing. The room went quiet instantly, because Helen almost never spoke harshly about Frank. He worked himself to death trying to look strong, she whispered. And now you're doing the exact same thing. Ryan looked away like a guilty child, because deep down he knew she was right. Suddenly, Ryan's assistant burst into the office looking terrified. Sir, we have a problem. Now, the assistant swallowed hard. Someone leaked private company files online. Ryan froze. What files? The assistant hesitated. Employee salaries, personal records, internal emails. Helen's stomach dropped. This wasn't random revenge anymore. Victor was trying to destroy everything within minutes. Phones started exploding across the office. Employees panicked. Clients threatened lawsuits. Social media turned brutal instantly. One news anchor even called Ryan a failed golden boy. The internet can be cruel, especially to people already drowning. Ryan slammed his laptop shut violently. Done, Helen blinked. What? I can't do this anymore. His voice sounded empty now, completely drained. They win. Helen stared at her son carefully, then quietly walked toward the old baseball photo in his office, the same photo she always touched while cleaning. You remember this game? She asked. Ryan frowned slightly. What? You were 12. Looked confused. You struck out 3 times. Slowly, Ryan remembered. Rainy afternoon, Little League championship, crowd laughing. I wanted to quit baseball forever, he muttered. Helen smiled softly. And what did your father tell you? Ryan stayed silent, then finally whispered. Real strength is standing back up embarrassed. Helen nodded. Exactly. Ryan sat there quietly thinking, and suddenly memories hit him hard. His father teaching him to ride a bike. His mother working late-night shifts, smiling through exhaustion. The tiny apartment they once lived in. Back then they had almost nothing, but somehow they were happier. That's when Helen said something powerful. You built this company from nothing once. Ryan looked at her. Build your life again too. Honest, real. The kind of advice no billionaire consultant could ever give. For the first time in weeks, Ryan finally stopped shaking. Not because his problems disappeared, but because he remembered something important. He wasn't alone. Downstairs in the parking garage, a black luxury SUV quietly pulled into the shadows. Inside sat Victor Lang, watching the building, watching Ryan. And beside him sat a man Helen would recognize instantly. Someone from her past. Someone she prayed she'd never see again. Because 20 years earlier, that man destroyed her family once already. And now he was back, to be continued. Part 8. The man from Helen's past. Rain poured heavily outside Carter Tech that night. Thunder echoed across downtown Chicago. and inside the black SUV parked across the street, Victor Lang smiled coldly. Beside him sat a man with gray hair, sharp eyes, and a scar near his chin. Helen Carter would have recognized him instantly. Richard Hale, Frank Carter's former business partner. And the man who ruined their lives 20 years ago. Back then, Frank and Richard owned a small auto repair business together. They were best friends once, like brothers. But when money entered the picture, everything changed. Richard secretly stole from the company, blamed Frank for the missing money, and disappeared before police discovered the truth. Frank lost everything: the business, his reputation, almost his marriage. For years, Helen watched her husband suffer silently from shame he didn't deserve. Now, that same snake had returned inside the SUV. Victor leaned back calmly. "You sure Helen won't recognize you?" Richard smirked. "She hasn't seen me in 20 years. Victor's eyes darkened. Good, because Victor wasn't just after Ryan's company anymore. Now it was personal. Ryan humiliated him publicly, destroyed his reputation, exposed his crimes, and men like Victor, they don't forgive embarrassment. Meanwhile, upstairs, Ryan sat quietly eating takeout noodles with Helen in his office. Honestly, it was the happiest he looked in years. No investors, no board meetings, no fake smiles, just him and his mom sharing cheap food from paper boxes. Funny how peace works sometimes. "You still slurp noodles loud," Helen teased softly. Ryan laughed for the first time in forever. Dad did too. They both went quiet after that, because grief never fully disappears. It just gets quieter over time. Then suddenly, Ryan's office phone rang, unknown number. He almost ignored it. But something felt strange. He answered slowly. "Hello," a cold male voice replied immediately. "You should ask your mother about Richard Hale." Ryan frowned instantly. "What?" Click, the call ended. Ryan looked confused. "Who's Richard Hale?" The second Helen heard that name, the color drained from her face completely. Ryan noticed instantly. "Mom," her hands started trembling badly now, not from age, from fear, real fear. "Where did you hear that name?" "Someone just called me." Slowly sat down like her legs stopped working. Ryan's chest tightened immediately, because he had never seen his mother look this terrified before, ever. "That man," Helen whispered, "destroyed your father." Ryan stared at her carefully, and for the next 20 minutes Helen told him everything: the stolen money, the betrayal, the lies that nearly ruined Frank forever. Ryan listened silently, anger building with every word. "So Dad was innocent the whole time?" Helen nodded slowly, but nobody believed him. Ryan clenched his fists hard. His father spent years carrying shame that belonged to another man, and now somehow, that same man was connected to Victor Lang. This wasn't coincidence anymore. This was war. Meanwhile, downstairs in the lobby, Richard Hale quietly entered the building wearing a maintenance uniform. Nobody stopped him. Nobody questioned him. Invisible people move easiest through wealthy places. Back upstairs, Ryan suddenly stood. "We're calling the police." Grabbed his arm quickly. "No," Ryan looked shocked. "What? That man is dangerous." "I don't care." "But I do." Her voice cracked hard. Ryan froze instantly, because he suddenly realized something painful. His mother wasn't scared for herself. She was scared for him. Then suddenly, the office lights flickered. Once, twice. Then darkness covered the entire floor. Power outage. Ryan's heart dropped instantly. Because Carter Tech had backup generators, the lights should have come back immediately. But they didn't. Emergency alarms started echoing through the building. Red warning lights flashed dimly across hallways. Helen looked terrified now. "Ryan." Then footsteps echoed outside the office door, slow, heavy, deliberate. Ryan immediately stepped in front of his mother protectively. The office door creaked open slightly, and a shadow appeared in the hallway, tall, still, watching them. Then a familiar voice spoke from the darkness. "Evening, Helen," gasped softly, because after 20 years she recognized that voice instantly. "Richard Hale." Ryan moved forward angrily. "You stay away from my mother." Richard just smiled coldly. "You sound exactly like your father." That sentence nearly made Ryan explode. "What do you want?" Richard slowly stepped into the emergency light glow, older now, wrinkled, but his eyes still carried the same ugliness Helen remembered. Then Richard said something chilling. "Victor wants the company." Looked directly at Ryan. "If you don't walk away quietly." His smile widened. "People get hurt." Helen grabbed Ryan's arm immediately. "Listen to him." Ryan's anger was already boiling over. "You threaten my family again," he snapped. "And I swear," Richard laughed softly. "Family?" Then he looked at Helen cruelly. "Funny word, considering the secret she's hiding from you." The room went dead silent. Ryan slowly turned toward his mother. "What secret?" Helen's eyes filled instantly. And for the first time since he was a child, Ryan saw guilt in his mother's face, real guilt, because Richard Hale had just opened a door buried for decades, a secret Helen prayed would die with her, to be continued.